Welcome to Parenting Matters Now, a source of parenting advice a few minutes at a time.
How do you teach your children to not complain? Hi, it's Dr. Roger Smith of Parenting Matters Now. Children will complain about most anything, whether it's going to bed or it's going to grandma's house or whether it is anything that they just do not want to do, eating a particular food on their plate. But how can we actively train them to not complain in situations where they do not like the plan, the outcome, the instruction? And there are ways that we can train our children. And it begins with us training ourselves to not be complainers. And what is a complaint? Complaint is just simply stating that you do not like something and whining about it and going on about it. Not asking is the absence of asking for an alternative. It is just simply stating that you don't like the situation, having a sad disposition or a grumpy disposition. And you as the parent must model this, but that's not enough because they will not put themselves into your shoes and will not have any concept that you have situations that are outside your control that you do not like. Explaining these things to them. But here's an idea of how to actively train them. And it's called role playing, and that you can reverse the roles and just say, okay, let's pretend. And children like to pretend. Pretend that you are the parent and I am the child. And you can create the situation and go, it is you wanting to have me go to bed, or you're wanting me to eat the food. So you figure out a situation that is fairly common, that's not in their face, that we're not just trying to make them mad about a situation that you're in. But also keep in mind the fact that it needs to not be right on the heels of a situation where the two of you were in opposition over the issue that you're role playing about. It needs to be separate. Talk about complaining. There's a little song that is still popular today, but when our children were little, some 30 years ago, Steve Green made this album, and it was Bible instructions to children to music. And one of them was, do everything without complaining. So it was based on a Bible verse, but many of us heard that or used it with our children. And even today, I've heard it in childcare situation. It says that we need to learn to do things without complaining, and that it displays character on our part. So role playing, where you become the child and you have to plan out what your complaint is going to be and how you're going to do it and the attitude you're going to be displaying. But be careful not to carry it too far to where you make your child angry at you. But you do help them to see that as the parent, they're trying to get you to do something that is really for your own good and is just the right thing to do, or is the thing to do at that moment. And so role playing is one thing, but you do have to set it up and talk to them about the fact that we all have things that we have to do that we would rather not. And you can give some of those examples, paying the bills, preparing meals for other people, taking care of the car and the lawn and other things that are just, you just need to do. You have to get up and go to work, any number of things, but they will not be able to fully appreciate the fact that you suffer through those things and you deal with them with a good attitude until you explain it and then do some minor role playing. So it can open a conversation. Is it going to immediately fix them and stop them from complaining? No, it is a step toward training them that complaining is not, it's not desirable. It's really not even effective. And so give them an alternative to complaining. One of my sons has 3 little girls, and they were training them not to complain about the food. And we did not know what this tactic was that they were using. But we noticed that the children, whenever they were visiting us and we offered them some food, and they would say, well, that's not my favorite. And we didn't know that that was code language for, I don't want to eat that, but I can't complain about it. So we kept saying, oh, well, it doesn't have to be your favorite, just eat it. And they were a little frustrated. So if you have some kind of language that you're teaching them to utilize in situations where they would otherwise complain, if they have a way of responding, include the family members in that training and say, this is what the children are going to be doing or saying. And so when they say this is what they mean by it. It took us a while to figure out that's not my favorite, what that meant. But training your children to not complain is good for them. It's good for you. Train yourself first, not to complain, but to simply try to find alternatives to situations you do not like. So do everything without complaining. It's Dr. Roger Smith with Parenting Matters Now.
If you find the advice here helpful, I encourage you to get my book, Parenting with Influence, by visiting rogersmithmd.com. Subscribe to Parenting Matters Now for more advice, or go to rogersmithmd.com to search for more topics. See you next time.